All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Dr. Rich Spulita, and today we are going to do part 2 of our look at differences between humans and species of apes.
大家晚上好，我又回来了。今天晚上我们讲第二讲，有关人跟猿从基因角度的不同。
And so, just to kind of recap where we were last time, it's been a few weeks. We were talking about these two very different theories of origins. First, we have the story found in the Bible depicted on the left, the creation of man, that God created humans as special creations. And on the right, we have a depiction of the theory of evolution.
我们很快的回顾一下，我们上次讲了两种人是怎么来的理论，一个是神创，一个是我们是由猩猩进化来的。
And specifically, we looked last time at some of the supposed, the I don't know what word to use, the supposed missing links between the apes that led to human beings and modern human beings. So what we would call intermediate species.
上次我们主要讲了一些从猿到人之间所谓的链接，我们讲了几个不同的链接，在不同的时代的链接。
So today we're going to take a quick look at this idea of genetic or DNA similarities, and then in a future lesson, probably a few weeks from now, we'll take a look at behavioral similarities and behavioral differences between humans and apes.
我们上次主要是讲了有关从基因角度，人跟猿的不同。之后我们会再慢慢的讲从行为以及认知方面的相同地方和不同的地方。
Okay, so here was our conclusion last time. This is a good place to pick back up. And what we concluded was that there is no solid evidence, no real evidence that humans evolved from an ancestral ape-like species. Therefore, it is not necessary to replace the Genesis, the Bible creation narrative, with some different story in the name of science. In other words, we can trust what the Bible tells us about human origins.
那我们上次的结论是，其实并没有任何实际或者是任何不可辩驳的证据来说明人是从猿进化来的，所以呢，也完全没有必要用所谓的科学的一种理论来改变神创论。我们应该相信圣经里边所讲人是怎么来的。
Okay, and so today we want to build on this. We want to extend this. So this time we're going to examine the alleged similarities between human and ape, specifically chimpanzee DNA.
那今天呢，我们继续延续这个话题，我们再讲一下人跟猿之间他们的 DNA 所谓的相同之处跟不同之处。
Okay, so just to, we have people of all ages here. What is DNA? DNA contains the instructions to build any and all living organisms, including your body.
首先 DNA 是什么呢？ DNA 是包含了一切作为一切能够产生活体的信息，包括人的身体。
So DNA is the information carrying molecule that's found in nearly every cell of your body.
DNA 里面包括了你身体当中每一个分子的信息。
In the words of Dr. Francis Collins, who was the head of the Human Genome, he right now the National Institutes of Health, and he's also a Christian, he refers to DNA as the language of God.
Rich, you broke up a little bit, but I think I know what you said.
Okay.
现在美国卫生科学院卫生研究院的领导人Dr. Francis 他说，其实是DNA 就是神用来创造的语言。
Okay, and so DNA molecules, specifically the amino acids, the nucleotides, they are like, you can think of them like letters in the alphabet.
所以呢 DNA 就跟语言相比的话，就好像字母，里面的每一个氨基酸呢，就好像英文字母里面的 ABCD。
Okay, and so chromosomes, right? The humans have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes. The chromosomes are, you can think of those like books. They contain many groups of genes.
那这些碱基对呢，就好像一本书里面包括了很多语言，一对一对的对起来。
Okay, and so as we looked at in a previous lesson, DNA is very powerful evidence of God. DNA contains very precise information for building literally every detail of our bodies. And we talked about how that type of information can only come from an intelligent mind. In other words, natural processes, nature alone, cannot explain that.
我们上次也讲到了 DNA 里边包括的信息是非常精确的，而且非常的细微的，所以根本如果不是非常有智慧的创造的话或设计的话，根本不可能存在。
Okay, so the fact alone that we have DNA and that DNA works like it does points directly to a creator.
所以DNA 存在本身就是一个非常强有的证据，说这人体和生命是由智慧创造的。
Okay, so today specifically, we want to look at this claim by evolutionists that ape, or specifically again, chimpanzee and human DNA is highly identical.
那所以今天呢，我们特别想讲一下，所谓的这些基因科学家宣称的人跟猿有98%的基因都是非常类似的。
So the most common claim is that there is somewhere around 98% genetic similarity or genetic identity between the chimp genome, chimp DNA, and human DNA.
那具体来讲呢，他们说有98%的基因，人跟猿之间是极其相似的。
Okay, and so here are the claims of the evolutionists. They claim, first of all, we'll look at these one at a time. Chimpanzee and human DNA is highly similar. Again, the most often quoted estimate is somewhere around 98% similarity.
首先呢，他们有几个结论，宣称是黑猩猩跟人类 DNA 之间的相似度高达98%以上。
But right away, there's a big problem because humans have 46 chromosomes, whereas chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, the great ape species, all have 48 chromosomes.
那首先呢，就没有办法解释人是有46对碱基对，那碱基，然后黑猩猩只有48对，之间有2个不同的是怎么样发生的？
So evolutionists, in order to deal with this problem, a hypothetical fusion of chimpanzee or ancestral chromosomes, I should say, into what became human chromosome number 2.
对不起啊，其实那个不叫碱基对，应该说是染色体。他们的理论是说呢，有2条从黑猩猩里面的染色体，它们就合在一起了。
So our question we want to talk about right now is, should we believe this claim? Is this a rational claim? Does the evidence point toward an ancestral 2 different genes fusing together, or I should say chromosomes, into human chromosome 2? Does the evidence back that up?
那我们要讨论一下所谓的他说2条染色体融在一起，然后慢慢进化成了人的染色体，这个理论成立吗？
Okay. So what I did when I started putting together this PowerPoint, and you can do this too, just go into Google, and if you Google search how similar is human and chimp DNA, this is the first thing that came up.
其实如果你要上谷歌去搜一下的话，你就把这句话打进去，说人跟黑猩猩之间的 DNA 的相似度有多少，这是首先就跳出来的一个图片。
And just look at how matter-of-factly they state this. They say ever since researchers sequenced the chimp genome in 2005, they have known that humans share about 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees, making them our closest living relatives.
他们说的很是确凿的证据表明，如果你看，自从科学家把猩猩跟人的基因做对比之后，他们就发现有99%人跟黑猩猩的基因DNA 是完全一样的。
Okay, so we want to ask, is this 98 to 99% figure, is that accurate? And it turns out that figure is not at all accurate.
我首先想说一下，那他所谓的99%这个数字准确吗？
And the main reason for this is that these original figures, these original estimates, were based on comparisons of pre-selected regions of DNA that were known to be highly what they call conserved or stable across species.
我们的结论是这个数字是不准确的。为什么呢？首先呢，他们这个选择的部位做研究是所有的物种之间都很所谓的稳定的那一部分。
So the fact that they selected only very specific regions that they knew ahead of time were going to be highly, highly similar to compare, that in and of itself is a problem. And then the second problem is these regions often amounted to far less than 1% of the entire genome.
首先呢，他们选择这些非常稳定的地方就已经是不合理的了。那并且我们也知道，这些稳定的地方在整个物种里面或人活体里面的话，只是很小的一部分有这样子是这样子稳定的。
Okay, and additionally, the 98 to 99% figure was determined only by counting base pairs, nucleotide base pair substitutions as differences.
而且它这个98、99这个数字只是从其中的一部分选择出来做对比。
And I have a picture on the next slide that will hopefully illustrate this.
我下面有一些图片，可以进一步的阐述这个。
So this is very significant. The comparisons completely ignored what are called insertions and deletions, or just referred to in general as indels.
那问题在于说，他们这些对比呢，他们把那些不同的地方，或是他们叫所谓的去切入的一些东西不同的地方就没有算在他们的数字里面。
Now this is super important because the number of occurrences of substitutions is higher. In other words, you have a higher number of substitutions, but the substitutions tend to only occur one base pair at a time. On the other hand, the indels tend to be much longer. In fact, they can be any length.
这个是问题很大的，因为虽然它这些不同的地方。
Okay, and so here is the illustration. Don't worry too much about the words at the bottom, but let's focus first of all on the upper right-hand part. Or sorry, upper left. Yes.
Sorry, Rich, I didn't really get the last part, but anyways, you know, 我们首先看一下左上角。
Yeah, and so notice they have a series of letters representing the base nucleotides across the top. It says A, G, T, C, G, right? And then across the bottom, A, G, T, C, and instead of G, there's an A. Well, that would be an example of a substitution. The A has been substituted for G.
那我们可以看到上面的排列顺序是 A G T C G， 那下面的话那个 G 被 A 换成了 A。
Okay, now contrast that with the scenario on the right. It starts out the same, A G T C G, but you don't have a substitution this time. You have a deletion, A G T C and then nothing.
那相对而言，你看右边这个照片的话呢，下面那个 A 没有了，所以 G 没有被替换，只是它相对的那个不见了。
And so in this example, there's just one nucleotide that's deleted, but in reality, there could be hundreds or even thousands of nucleotides that have either been inserted or deleted. And in that the calculation of that 99% figure, it didn't consider either of those possibilities. It didn't consider all of the insertions, and it didn't consider all of the deletions.
那所以呢，这个只是一个例子而已，在实际的细胞里面的话，这种插入一个不同的一个碱基或者是这个就消失掉了，是经常发生的。
So that is a tremendous amount of information that's been completely left out of the analysis.
那所以这个就会产生结论的相当大的不同。
Okay, so when comparison, so what difference does it make? When the comparisons between chimp and human DNA include the insertions and deletions, the 98 to 99% figure immediately drops to around 95%.
那当我们把这些插入或者是消失的都算在这些计算方式里面的话，这个98到99就马上变成了95。
So, okay, obviously that 95% still seems to indicate a high degree of similarity, but we should note that a 5% difference amounts to over 150 million base pair letter differences between chimpanzees and humans.
即使95%听起来还是蛮高的相似度，但是我们要知道，那即使有5%的不同，其实就意思是说有1亿5千万对在基因里面的这个不同。
Okay, and so I edited, this T-shirt. It's kind of funny. It's supposed to be kind of funny, but instead of putting 98% chimp, why not create a T-shirt that says 150 million base pair differences from a chimpanzee?
那刚才那个 T 恤衫上面的话，应该可以改成说，与其说有98%相同，我们不如说有1亿5千万个碱基对的不同。
That puts an entirely different perspective on the issue.
那这样子看起来的话，角度就完全不同了。
Okay, so finally, a comprehensive analysis, and I give you the reference here if you want to look it up on your own, but a comprehensive analysis of chimpanzee and human DNA revealed when you do the entire genome and you compare the entire human genome to the entire chimpanzee genome, they're only about 70% identical.
所以最后呢，对黑猩猩和人类 DNA 的综合分析显示，这两个基因组仅约75%是相同的。
And so that, is a completely different scenario than what the evolutionists are telling us.
那所以这个就跟进化论所想告诉我们的有非常大的不同。
Okay. So what about, let's go back to this idea of the alleged fusion, the chromosomal fusion that evolutionists say caused humans to have 46 chromosomes instead of the 48 chromosomes that are found in great ape species.
那进化论又说，所谓的染色体融合导致人类拥有46条染色体，而不是大猿猴物种发现的48条染色体，又怎么说呢？
Okay, so we want to take a look at this. So this is a depiction of the fusion imagined by evolutionists. This is purely theoretical, and so what they suppose is that chimpanzee chromosome 2A, chimpanzee chromosome 2B came together and were fused into human chromosome number 2.
那这个就是一个纯属他们所想象出来的，这个所谓的融合是怎么发生的？就是你看到那个图片上显示，其中有2段它融合在一起，变成了下面的一段。
Okay, so I want to give you a few reasons to doubt this fusion hypothesis.
我想讲几个我们完全有理由怀疑这个理论的原因。
Okay, so while there are many documented instances in which geneticists have suspected a fusion of chromosomes in other species, these fusions never involve 2 telomeres being fused, the very end part of the chromosome, as is supposed in this imagined fusion.
首先我想说一下，尽管确实有些记录好像是看到那些染色体融合在一起的例子实例，但是这些融合从未涉及到2个端粒的融合，就像他刚才那个图片里边所记录的那样，端粒我想应该是一个很专业的名词在这里边。
Okay, so they never see that. Rather, all of the other fusions involve 1 telomere, 1 end part, being fused with something that's called SAT or satellite DNA, or fusion along 2 different segments of SAT DNA. That's what they see in all of the other instances. They never see this type of thing that they are hypothesizing happening with human chromosome number 2.
那所有呢，相反，所有的所谓的这种融合的记录都显示说的是一个端粒与另外一个叫 SAT DNA 的融合，或者沿着 SAT DNA 的2个片段的融合，而不是2个端粒之间的融合。
Okay. Moreover, the reasons for this is that telomeres contain those end pieces again. The end pieces of the chromosome contain a highly specialized end protein. It's called shelterin complex, and shelterin complex actually prevents, it functions to prevent fusion.
原因是什么呢？原因是端粒包含高度怎么翻译叫做专业化的末端蛋白，这种蛋白叫做 shelterin 复合物，它的作用是防止融合的。
Okay, so researchers have identified large segments of satellite DNA, SAT DNA, on the ends of chimp chromosomes 2A and 2B that have no analog in human chromosome 2. In other words, if this supposed fusion had happened, you would expect there to be many similarities between chimpanzee chromosomes 2A and 2B and human chromosome 2, but they don't see that.
那所以呢，研究人员已经在黑猩猩的2A 和2B 染色体的末端鉴定出了很大的刚才所谓的那个 set DNA 的片段，可是在人类2号染色体上却没有类似物，也就是说它是缺乏这个同步性的。如果它们真的是融合了形成的话，应该是高度一致的。
So the technical work, the technical name, sorry, for this observed lack of similarity is called lack of synteny.
那从专业术语上，这个缺乏相同性和类似性的话，叫做 lack of synteny， 也就是缺乏同步性。
Okay. So finally, the original fusion hypothesis assumed that the alleged fusion site consisted of non-functional DNA. In other words, the DNA along those segments didn't code for any type of protein.
所以呢，最初的融合假设，所谓的融合位点，并不是由功能性的 DNA 形成的。
Okay, but it turns out that hypothesis, with more research, that turned out to be wrong. The alleged fusion site encodes a functional gene called DDX11L2, and it has been found to bind at least 12 transcription factors. What that means is that obviously this is, it's not non-functional DNA, it is functional DNA.
刚才他们的假设是被证明是错误的，是为什么呢？因为所谓的融合位点的编码，一个功能基因叫做 DDX11L2，并且发现这种结合至少少了12个转录因子。
Okay, so the clear evidence, take all of this together. This is clear evidence that the chromosomal fusion imagined by the evolutionist never happened.
那所以呢，这样就是进化学家所假设的染色体融合，并没有发生的非常明确的证据。
Okay, so here are some conclusions. First of all, the reported 98 to 99% similarity, DNA similarity between chimps and humans is based upon selective reporting. And more importantly, it's based upon the philosophy, right? That we keep talking about this, all of my lessons, but the philosophy or the presupposition of evolution.
那所以呢，这个所谓的黑猩猩跟人类之间98%到99%的 DNA 的高度类似性呢，是基于选择性的报告，而且他们是基于共同这种他们相似度已经是一个哲学上的预设。我们对这方面有很多的讨论。这个哲学上的所谓的预设的话是非常重要的。
Okay, number two, if you remember anything, maybe you're not really, if you're not a person who studies science a lot, just remember this part. When the entire genomes, when you compare all of the DNA of humans to all of the DNA of chimpanzees, there's an enormous amount of difference found in those genomes.
就算你不是学这个人类这种基因学的哈，也要记住，今天我们主要的结论是说，如果对于整个基因组进行比较的话，我们确实证明黑猩猩和人类 DNA 之间存在非常巨大的差异。
Okay, so the molecular evidence strongly suggests that human chromosome number 2 did not arise from the fusion of separate ancestral chromosomes.
尤其重要的是说呢，从分子角度，有力的证明人类的第2号染色体并非源自单独的这个染色体的融合，源自黑猩猩染色体的融合。
Okay, so next time in our third and final lesson in this series, what we want to do is take a look at the astounding behavioral differences between apes and humans. And so, in other words, if evolution were true, you would expect humans and chimpanzees to have very, very similar behaviors. We're going to take a look at how that obviously is not the case. So be sure to invite a friend, and you won't want to miss that third lesson.
那我们还后续有第3讲，在第3讲里面，我们主要想探讨一下人跟黑猩猩之间所谓科学家说的他们的行为的类似度也非常高的话，我们想看一下，其实这些所谓的行为的相同，其实是非常不同的。请你可以邀请你的朋友来参加，希望你不要错过第3次的我们的讨论。
Okay, but before we close today, I want to give you just a few summary points.
那在今天结束之前呢，我们先总结一下。
Okay, so first of all, evolutionists insist that humans and great apes are very similar and that they have recently descended from a common ancestor.
所以呢，进化论持有者他们坚持认为人跟猿有非常大的相似度，并且人是由猿进化来的，他们有共同的祖先。
Now, if that's true, then that's a big problem for the Bible because this narrative directly contradicts a plain reading and understanding of Genesis chapter 1 and 2.
如果他们所宣称的是真的话，那么就会对我们的圣经产生一个很大的挑战，因为直接对圣经创世纪的1章跟2章里面说的完全不同。
So, however, the so-called evidence that is advanced to support human evolution is highly speculative, and as we keep emphasizing, it comes from a philosophical commitment to evolution rather than to an objective consideration of the available data.
那我们也可以看到，所谓的说人是由猿进化来的，他们是基于很多的假设，跟预设。我们一而再再而三的强调这种从哲学角度的预设来讲的话，就让他们产生了这种结论。这个结论并不是基于客观的数据和证据上。
Okay, so before we go back to our breakout rooms, I just want to quickly return very briefly to Genesis chapter 2.
在我们进入分组讨论呢，我想非常简洁的介绍一下创世纪的第2章。
Okay, and so when we looked at Genesis 2 before we started the last lesson, we focused on the tree of life.
还记得吗？我们刚开始的时候，我们讲了2棵树，我们现在讲的是生命树。
Okay, so I want to read Genesis 2, verses 8 and 9. It says, "The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst or in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil."
耶和华神在东方的伊甸立了一个园子，把所造的人安置在那里。耶和华神使各样的树从地里长出来，可以悦人眼目，其上的果子好做食物。园子当中又有生命树和分别善恶的树。这是创世纪第2章8到9节。
Okay, so I just want to emphasize that tree of life. You know, Adam and Eve, instead of eating from the tree of life, they chose to rebel against God. They chose to dishonor God, and they did what God had told them not to do. They took and ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil instead.
所以我这边想强调一下，说是刚才我们讲到说那有2棵树，那 Adam 跟亚当跟夏娃他们没有去吃那个生命树上的果子，反而他们违背了神，他们去吃分别善恶树上的果子。
So that act of rebellion is what brought sin and shame into the world.
那他们这个对神的悖逆，就是罪的起源，把罪带入了世界。
So God cast them out of the Garden of Eden, and they no longer had access to the tree of life.
那所以神把他们赶出了伊甸园，那么他们也就再也吃不到生命树上的果子了。
Obviously, that would be very, very doesn't.
Rich, can you please repeat? You totally broke out. I didn't hear anything.
I said that would be very bad news if the story ended there, but the good news is the story doesn't end there.
如果就此事情就结束的话，他们被赶出去了。如果事情就结束的话，那就真的非常糟糕。但是事情并不是这样的，故事没有结束。
Genesis is the very first book in the Bible. Revelation is the very last book in the Bible. And what we see in Revelation is we see the tree of life again.
创世纪呢是圣经的第一卷书，启示录是圣经的最后一卷书。那我们在最后一卷书中又看到生命树出现了。
I love this verse from Revelation 22:2. It says, on either side of the river is the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit. The leaves are for the healing of the nations.
我特别喜欢启示录的22章的2节，是这样讲的：在河这边与那边有生命树，结12样果子，每月都结果子，树上的叶子，乃是为医治万民。
And then again in Revelation 2, verse 7, it says, this is Jesus speaking. He says, to everyone who is victorious, I will give fruit from the tree of life in the paradise of God.
那么在启示录的第2章第7节，这个是主耶稣对向教会所说的话。他说，得胜的，我必将神乐园中生命树的果子赐给他吃。
So through Jesus Christ, through Jesus and Jesus alone, humankind, men and women, can regain access to this tree of life.
那所以，通过对主耶稣的信靠，人们又可以重新吃到生命树上的果子了。
Okay, and so before we go to break out just the last thing, we want to talk about how this is possible. What did Jesus Christ do that gave us access to eternal life, to the tree of life?
在分组之前呢，我想非常简短的说一下，这一切是怎么发生，怎么有可能发生呢？
So this is the very heart, the very center of what we call the gospel of Jesus Christ.
这就是我们所称的耶稣基督的福音的核心内容。
And so Jesus Christ is the eternal Son of God. 2,000 years ago, he entered the world. He entered this world in the person of Jesus of Nazareth.
耶稣基督是神的独生爱子，他在2000多年前进入了人类的历史，成为了一个拿撒勒人。
And unlike you and unlike me, Jesus always obeyed God. He always, in all of his thoughts, in all of his actions, Jesus always honored God without exception.
那跟你我所不同的是，主耶稣在神面前过着完美的生活，他从来没有违背神，他完全无罪。
And because he lived this perfect life, he was qualified to die in our place, to take our shame upon himself when he died on the cross.
因为主耶稣他完全无罪，所以他是唯一有资格替我们死在十字架上的人。
And so Jesus Christ was buried in a tomb, and 3 days later, by the power of God, he was physically resurrected from the dead.
那主被钉在十字架上，被埋在坟墓当中，但是3天后，通过上帝圣灵的力量，使他复活。
And so what God requires of us is that we repent of our sins, that we allow God to change our mind and to change our heart, and to say, God, I am done living for myself. I want to live for you. I want to serve you, and I want to obey you. And I trust what Jesus did on the cross to make me right with you.
那所以神向我们要的是什么呢？就是我们要向神悔改，承认我们的罪，并且因为耶稣基督战胜死亡，我们可以通过远离罪恶的生活，完全相信耶稣基督死后复活的为我们所成就的。
Okay, so we'll go back to Sean now, but if that is something that God is telling you that you really need to do, then talk to someone in your breakout room about how you can experience forgiveness through Jesus Christ and how Jesus Christ can restore you to a position of honor before God.
那所以我们就可以通过完全相信耶稣基督死后复活的成就，悔改我们的罪，就可以就被得救。如果今天你听到这个信息，你想更多讨论的话，请在你下面分组，跟你分组的这个带领人讨论今天这个话题。非常感谢。